Hey, greetings, salutations, internet, fans of podcasts, anyone that enjoys an adult beverage. My name is Lee. I'll be your host today on another episode of Cocktails and Curveballs. As always, what we do on this show, very important to us. We give mad props, appreciation to all of our men and women in uniform, foreign and domestic, past, present, and all first responders, the people that have a really tough job, don't get paid as much as they should, to take care of us so that we can do the shit that we do. So on that note, gentlemen, big weekend, man. We got stuff right now going on that I'm sure we'll all get into. But first off, I'm going to start with what I'm drinking. So I'd like y'all to let me know what you're drinking. So we've discussed this brewery before. This is Ellensburg, Washington, which I'm sure Jimmy and T are pretty familiar with that area. So this is brand new. I've never seen it before. So they have their Quilter's Irish Death as their go-to beer. Love it. Love that beer. It's probably one of my top three. But every year they come out with something new. This one is literally called Cookie Death. It's Irish Death with like some cookie, but it's not super sweet, and it's actually 7.8%.
Good Lord.
Really good stuff.
I didn't see who it was. Is that Iron Horse?
Iron Horse, yeah, Iron Horse Brewery out of Ellensburg, Washington, man. And I don't think I've ever had a beer of theirs that isn't good. So anyway, so someone start us off. Tell me what you're drinking and start us off. There's a lot to go over here, gentlemen.
Well, I'm drinking something a little different today, something I found in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Haven't seen it around here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's called Old Smoky Moonshine, and it's butter pecan flavor. So I just poured it over ice in a chilled tin cup. Man, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's
No kidding.
If I handed this to
Moonshine.
somebody, if I handed this to somebody and they took a drink, they'd have no idea there's booze in it. It's pretty phenomenal. So it's really good. It's something I wanted to get you guys' opinion on. To me, it's the situations like this is fascinating. But you got the Oakland Raiders. We talked about it several podcasts ago about whether dropping Derek Carr and going to Jimmy G. I felt like that was a lateral move at the time. I didn't see the upside. Some guys did. And I guess, you could say, well, Jimmy G is a winner and blah, blah, blah. But it hasn't worked out in L.A. for the Raiders. He's been atrocious. I think he's leading the league in interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. He just got benched. Coaching staff just got canned. Now it's come out that Mark Davis firing everybody he fired is going to cost that guy $85 million. With Devontae Adams still there, which I think he caught one pass last weekend. Man, there's a reason why these teams continue to miss the playoffs every year, because they continue to do dumb shit. So, I just kind of like to get your guys' opinion. Like, I mean, is this a situation where you have a fire sale? Like, anybody of value you just offer up, or is there a light at the end? I mean, is there still salvageable pieces where they can turn this around? I don't know. I'm at a loss.
No, we've talked about that before, but it just seems to me, and I want Tyler and Jimmy to jump on this. It just seems like those organizations that can't get their shit in a kit. They just really can't get it done. Never do, man. And then stuff like this happens, and you're like, what the hell? But on a side note, what I'd like to hear from you guys, do you think Josh McDaniels is going to get another head coaching job?
No, I don't.
Good God almighty, the man's been just canned twice now, and it's second year he's canned. Does he get another shot?
Second time as a head coach. Second time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm under operate under the mantra that there are really, really good coordinators, both offensive and defensive, that just don't cut it as a head coach. They're great coordinators. Josh McDaniels could step into an offensive. I really believe this. He could step into an offensive coordinator's role tomorrow, which is probably what he's destined his next job. And I think he could have that offense humming. But this is his second stint as a head coach, and he's horrible. Same thing as Vic Fangio in Miami. Great defensive coordinator, horrible head coach. So I just feel like there's these coaches, Josh McDaniel fits the mold, that should not be a head coach, man. They're fabulous coordinators, but know your role.
A lot of this has to do with, if you look at Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniel,
Belichick
guys, some of these, they're Belichick. They're off that Belichick tree, right? Yeah. And I think they're trying a little hard to be Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's
And-
probably right. You're probably right on with that.
And not only are they not Bill Belichick, but they're pushing people away. Now, Devontae Adams supposedly went to the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, by the way.
Oh,
Went
Las
to
Vegas. I'm
Vegas
sorry.
Raiders, to play with Derek Carr, who was his college quarterback, right? And that just didn't work out. And if there's a bigger, more dysfunctional, and I've said this about the Cowboys, guys, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit on that. I've said it about the Cowboys, the most dysfunctional franchise in all of sports. I got to go back to the Raiders. Al Davis is his last few years, and then of course hands it to his son Mark Davis, and I just don't know what the fuck they're doing. I really don't. It's horrible just to watch this franchise that at one time had the all-time win percentage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does Mark Davis have the worst haircut in sports?
Oh, he's got to, right? That might be the
Holy
only thing
fuck, it's
worse.
right up there.
Well, you
Yeah,
got
that
that
might
much
be the-
fucking money, you cut your hair however you want, I guess.
That might be the only thing that's worse than the state of the Vegas Raiders is Mark Davis's haircut.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, I'm mountains are blue.
Hey,
I'm
glad they're blue.
But no, it's just terrible, and I feel bad for their fans because, believe it or not, there's a lot of loyal Raiders fans out there, not just the black and the silver and fucking gang shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of loyal Raiders fans that have been around since they were in Oakland, and and so I feel bad for their fans that just got to keep watching this shit day in, day out. Just these decisions, and I don't think the Garoppolo thing was a bad decision. Listen, Jimmy G's got it before he went to the Raiders in San Fran. The man had a 750 winning percentage.
Right.
Yep.
It's just, I think you walk in that locker room and it's a culture that just brings everybody down. And I think that's just where we're at. Josh Jacobs, incredible talent. Devontae Adams, incredible talent. How would you like to be Max Crosby?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Who is just, all he wants to do is kick somebody's ass, win football games, just the motor 110% all the time. And how would you like to be Max Crosby sitting back watching this shit?
Oh,
and not want out of there, not want to go to somewhere where shit, man, just let me be 500 and I can make that team better. And and it's sad to me. It's sad to watch this franchise, this once very proud franchise, has got some Super Bowls, by the way, banners hanging in their stadium. And it's just sad to me to watch this franchise just be dog shit. They're not going to get any big free agent signings. I don't give a shit how much money they put out on the table. They're not going to get any big free agent signings. It's going to be middle to the road, your second, third tier guys that go there to try and prove that maybe they are one, upper tier guys. I don't know. But it just, to me, it's fucking horrible. And I feel bad for the fans more than anybody. And I feel bad for the guys like Max Crosby on that team that have to sit there and go and play after play, down after down, fucking game after game for these assholes that are just driving it right into the ground.
just to epically get beat down again.
Yeah.
so how long ago does it seem like that the Raiders? You remember the old Raiders mystique? Remember they had a mystique about them. I think
Oh
that
man, no, they were straight scary back in the day,
Yeah.
dude. People were scared shitless of the
that
Raiders.
seems like a lifetime ago. I mean,
20
Raiders
years
it
at
just-
least.
I mean,
easy.
So, I mean, do you guys think it's just something as simple as Mark Davis just hiring the right football guys, or is it just Mark Davis?
Man, I don't
Started
know.
with his
It's
dad,
Mark
right?
Davis.
I mean, it's even his dad, like, he didn't do that great of a job. Jamarcus Russell,
Well,
I mean, and there's a laundry list of those guys too.
After John after John Madden and Tom Flores coached the Raiders, it seemed like after those two were gone, it seemed like Al Davis, not Mark, Daddy Al, it just seemed like he was bound determined he was going to coach that team from his skybox.
Right.
And he hired guys like Mike White and God, some of the guys that he fucking hired, it was like, who?
Yeah. Never even heard of it. Yeah.
And so you just knew they were puppets. And then he gets in a guy, you know, a young guy, John Gruden. He gets him in there. And oddly enough, holy shit, they're in the Super Bowl. You know, but John Gruden's also not the guy that's taking fucking phone calls from the skybox saying, hey, run this play.
Well, and that's the thing, though. And I think
Run
Al
that play.
Davis, I think Al, you're exactly right. I think he loved Raider Nation and what it had been, but he wanted all the credit, man. And who's to say that Mark isn't the exact same way? I mean, other than that pathetic haircut, but still, I mean, it's the same kind of situation. And what do? They still make these stupid moves, man, and they cannot get out of their own way. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I mean,
that's exactly-
How do you
another
look at
organization
yourself
like
in the
that?
mirror with that haircut and go like, no, this is how I'm going out in public today.
He's
is it-
a
are you
I'm
asking
worth,
me a personal
I'm worth
question?
like close to $1 billion. This is how I'm going out in the world today.
I think he is a billionaire. I think he's a billionaire, but I mean,
I think
you have
the Raiders. Well, actually, I think they were. I think he's one of the least wealthy owners. I think it's
Really?
like. I think he's really close to $1 billion. He might be over, but it's not by much if he is.
but
That's
even
a ton of money.
even-
We're cutting
even
hairs here.
$700-800 million, even $700-800 million. I mean, when you get that much money, who gives a shit? I mean, that's probably what he, you know.
Dude,
You gotta give a little bit of a
and
shit.
I don't give a
You gotta
shit.
give like a little bit of a shit, right?
Well, you should.
Does he have that many yes men around him that are
Well,
like, no,
yeah, but this
that
is-
looks good.
It looks
This is-
great.
That
right?
looks good, sire.
But Yeah, but this is
Hey,
Well,
Tyler,
this is
though, if he was gonna pay you
Goddamn, boy, got the
$500K
King
a
Arthur
year,
haircut.
if he
But
was
this
gonna
is
pay you
coming from-
$500K a year to be his assistant, you'd be telling, "Oh, looking great, Mr. Davis." On
I
point,
would try.
man,
I don't know
gorgeous.
how long I could hold my tongue.
I
I don't
couldn't.
know.
I
If he
couldn't.
asked me,
I was
if he asked
straight
me,
up. Yep. Super cuts right down the road, bud.
oh my god. And here, give me a pair of shears and I'll fucking do it.
Yeah,
I
get
just
some
this is
get some
coming
hedge
from a
trimmers.
perspective of guys that work for a living. I mean, this guy has had a spoon in his mouth. Like he doesn't know. He's been wealthy his entire life. So some of those people can be so out of touch with reality. Who knows what he's thinking? What I'm curious to get your guys' thought on is it. So do you guys see anything? Is there any way they can keep most of this team intact and build for next year? Because this year is a lost cause. Or is it the only answer is fire sale and get what you can and just start from scratch? I mean,
So who's the fire sale? But who do you get
You
rid
got
of?
Devontae Adams. What is that? It?
you got Josh Jacobs, you got Max Crosby, you got Devontae, you
Josh
got Max
Jacobs, Josh Jacobs.
I don't think you do that. I think once they bring in a new GM and a new head coach,
but
I
they're
think
lacking
they're going to be
talent.
like, okay, we're going to keep this and do that. Man, it's tough, man. You don't know that
But they-
organization could shock the
Lee,
world. Who knows?
I think we agree they are lacking talent. It's not something as simple
Oh, yeah.
as bringing in a head coach, changing the scheme, and
But what are
you
you
know,
going to get for who? Literally,
Josh
what are
Jacobs?
the Raiders going to get for who?
you're going to get at least a second for Josh Jacobs. Am I right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's sad because that's a first round talent.
I agree. I agree.
But he's a running back, and we all know what the running back market is.
Devontae
right?
Adams. Somebody will give you up a first for Devontae Adams. I can
Got to.
promise you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I bet
Max
their
Crosby,
asking price is a lot higher than a 1-1.
of course.
I imagine that's why he didn't get dealt at the trade deadline.
He'll probably get a first and a third. Max Crosby's going to land you a first. There's no doubt in my mind that guy's going to land you a first. I mean, so and there's other salvageable people. But I mean, who's their tight end? They got a pretty good tight end too.
No,
who's their
fuck, he's
tight
a
end?
rookie. He's a rookie. He's
Oh, is he? Okay, so
He's
okay,
the Meyer kid out of Notre Dame.
right.
Michael Meyer, he's a rookie.
Oh, right.
Hold on to that guy.
Did you say his name's Michael Myers?
Michael Mayer. Michael Meyer. I don't know how you pronounce
Wait,
it.
are you having
I
a
think
but
it's
it's not,
M-A-Y-E-R.
but it's not actual Michael Myers. It's not spelled the
No.
same.
No,
But
we thought you were having a Halloween hangover, Tyler. We're just
No.
curious because that was a few
I was
days
just
ago.
gonna say, what the fuck were his parents thinking? Whether they were huge Austin Powers fans or the killer in the Halloween movies.
I think it's Mayer.
Yeah,
it might
I think
be
it is too.
Mayer.
I think it is too.
Mayer.
Hey,
is
you
what-
know what's funny? I no bullshit. No, just found out that I know a guy whose name is legally Austin Powers.
Get the fuck out of here.
How old is
Swear
he?
to God.
How old is
Okay,
he?
so Mr.
Early 20s, probably.
So
All
he's
right,
probably
Mr.
named
Austin
after a
Powers.
fucking movie.
Can we get,
his
Mr.
parents-
Austin Powers
His
on the
parents
show?
have to have been, they were certainly
Oh.
around when these movies came out.
So this
shit.
his parents, these
Yes.
fucking people decided it was a good idea. Your last name's already Powers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
And if you fucking tell me his middle name is Danger, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna find his parents and fucking give him a piece of my mind.
No,
Yeah,
get him
I don't
on the
know, dude.
show. We'll
It's
ask him the question.
unbelievable,
Get him
right?
on a 5 for 5. Get him on a 5
That's
for 5. We'll ask him. Maybe not.
Austin Powers. If you ever see this, sorry, buddy,
Oh.
but no.
This is a true story now. I graduated with a guy. He went by the name of Greg Hunt. You know him, Lee. Greg
Oh
Hunt.
no, you're wrong. It's Michael, but he
I
went
know.
by
Okay.
Shane.
That was his legal name was Michael Hunt, but he went by
Yes.
the name of Greg. He went
He
by
went by
Greg.
Shane. No, he went by Shane.
Oh, it's
Trust
Greg
me, I
Hunt.
know. Yes, Greg Hunt's
Okay.
different. It's completely different
Okay.
people because I graduated same year with you, buddy.
Okay,
But
so
it's exactly
Shane.
right.
Oh, my
Shane,
bad. So
give it to-
Shane,
yeah.
Shane, he went by
So
Shane.
Shane, if you're hearing this, sorry, buddy, that we're calling you out, what is
Well,
notorious.
Okay, and
Shane,
listen,
Done
don't
from
go
a
by
Porky's
Shane,
movie.
bud. That ain't your name.
hey,
Name ain't Shane.
Porky's.
Your
Hey,
name's
The
Mike
movie
Hunt.
Porky's is where
All right?
that name
You look at
became
yourself
famous.
in the mirror and you get pissed at your parents every day that your name is goddamn Mike Cunt.
I want.
Okay? And that's that. You're not Shane. Your name's not Shane.
Hey,
And I'm sorry if you hear this. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's hey, I am too, but that's why he went by that name because
No, I
of
get
that.
it.
He went by.
Through in
It's
high
like- it's
school,
like-
in high school. Okay, sure. You don't go by
Right, but this was
Mike
also
Hunt.
that time frame where the movie Porky's came out, and it became. There's a scene in that movie, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear to God, if you haven't seen Porky's, I don't care if you're above 17, according to the movie Academy. What you got to find this movie. It's old school, but it's freaking hilarious, and that
Porky's,
movie-
Porky's 2, Porky's Revenge, dude.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was so awesome.
So
All of the
they were
above, man.
first, they were the first of the raunchy, just that was the oh my god, they just did that shit on TV. That was the first of those movies. Oh my
Yeah.
god, just,
You know, the fuck thing is though, is I'm sure his parents are amazing people. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I'm sure he had got great parents. But like you gotta ask yourself, like, did they not run the name through their heads?
back then though, the
I
bad
don't
word
understand.
that name makes. I don't know that we're allowed to say it on here. We just said it a bunch of times. So we made the sounds that sound like it. Was
We'll
that
just put the
a
names
bad
together.
word? Was that a bad word back then? Or is
Oh
that
yes,
more-
that was the
or is
word that you
That's-
never
that's-
spoke.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
That
I
was the
didn't. I don't
word
know.
you
I haven't
couldn't
been
call
alive
a
as long
girl.
as you guys.
Hey,
I
it
know
was-
it's a bad word now.
It was worse.
Oh, it was the worst.
back then. It was worse
Okay.
back then because, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but that people actually had respect for people, and especially
Sure.
especially women. So it was even worse back then, Ty, than it is now. I mean, people,
Absolutely,
Really?
that word was
Really,
that
because
was a no-no.
women
People
weren't
throw it
allowed to
out
have
there now.
jobs at one point. So
people,
So you're
people
talking a
throw that
long
shit
time
out
ago,
there.
dude.
not
Yeah.
that long ago.
A
Not
long
much
time
longer
ago.
than when you.
Dude,
Not
you're
that
talking
long
like-
ago.
You're talking like the 50s.
You guys are pretty fucking
What?
old. When
Oh,
you
geez.
guys were born,
What?
women could
Pump the
barely
brakes on this, all
vote.
right? Jesus.
Segregation
Shut
was
up.
a thing.
Oh my
Shut
god.
You guys have seen Remember the Titans, right?
Oh
What
yeah.
year
of
did that
course.
take place? What
That was
year
like
were you guys
60s.
born?
That was 60s.
Okay, hey, what year were you guys born?
71.
70s.
Okay, set. Okay, there's another person in here.
Well, Jim's the
Yeah.
60s. Jim's
Right,
the 60s.
exactly.
Come
That's
on
what
now.
I'm saying, dude. I mean, come on, don't hit me. Don't give me that shit.
But
Do you-
60s
do
women
you
were allowed to
feel
work.
bad
then,
that you
man.
are such a young blood on this podcast with this
No,
panel
I
that
mean-
you're that young? And you have to put up with us
Hey,
old geriatric fuckers?
No,
got-
not
I got
really. I'm
news
just
for you.
saying
I was-
you guys come from like that's
was-
why I didn't know if the see you next Tuesday, if that word was as bad back then. Because maybe it was okay.
I'm
Maybe
sure
it was okay to say that to your old lady. If
No,
she
it was
didn't,
not.
if dinner
Way
wasn't hot when
worse.
you got home.
Nah, it was
Nope.
worse.
Worse.
That's
Big
the
time
kind
worse.
of shit. That's the kind of shit that gets you an ashtray, 7-pound ashtray upside your head.
No.
No, not only that,
Well,
her to get
then-
every guy friend she has to gang beat you for saying it. That's how that shit went back in the day. That
Back
word never
then
came
they
out.
did. They weren't allowed to have guy friends,
Yes, they were.
right?
It was.
I
I
was
said-
So
that
you guys
guy
tell
friend.
me.
So
You
let,
guys
let
were
that
around.
one go.
You guys were around. I wasn't.
Am I
That's
mistaken
true.
by saying? Am I mistaken by saying that word that we're talking about? See you next Tuesday. Isn't that like fairly common? Like in England, you bloody. I mean, and they say that
Yeah,
word. I mean, I
I
feel
think
like they
so.
say that it's a lot more accepted over there than it is here.
I think you're right. I think it's just different countries
So
in
if
general.
you
I
say it
don't
with
know,
an
but-
accent, it's okay.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe-
give us
You
your
want me
best
to do
English
it?
accent, Pat.
You want me to do it in my Austin Powers accent?
Okay, so this is a hot
Bloody-
take, so let's do it. Tyler's Austin Powers take.
No,
Tyler,
fuck
go.
no. I'm not gonna really do it.
Damn
Oh,
it. Anyway,
It's funny how this kind of like a Seinfeld episode. Funny how this ties right back into Austin Powers, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, right.
it's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Hey, and
Hey,
Austin's mommy and daddy, all due respect, what the fuck were you thinking?
None
What the
due
fuck
respect.
are you thinking?
None
Yeah.
due respect. What the fuck are you guys doing? No,
Yeah.
you cannot tell me that you had not known what those movies were. Like you motherfucker, there's
They
three
were
of them.
huge.
They
Those
were
movies were
huge
huge.
movies. Yeah.
I mean,
They're like,
I think
they're
Pat,
telling him as
Pat,
he's
haven't
growing
you
up,
gone
well,
on
at least we
Halloween as
didn't name
Gold
you
Member a
fat
bunch of times?
bastard. They're like, well, at least
Has
we
it-
didn't name you Gold Member.
No,
Gold
No.
Member. Okay,
No.
so you know Bill Gotch. You know Bill Gotch. He has done the Gold Member for Halloween, and I swear to God, spot on, looks exactly like it. So shout out to Gotch on that one. But I thought you tried to pull that up, Pat, because I know you like rompers, and this one would
Yeah,
be
golden
gold.
ones.
no,
Yeah,
I don't.
and it would kind of
I
fit
don't
with your
see that.
wrestling
He
theme.
loves gold.
Can I paint his you gold? How about no, you goofy Dutch bastard?
Wow. So we got off the rails a little bit there, boys.
Hey,
So I got to ask you guys. Okay, so one thing that I saw, and a lot of college football yesterday, but Washington Huskies, man, good God, Penix Jr. I mean, and now granted it was USC. Now it wasn't a blowout, but is USC really that scary? Is Caleb Williams really that scary anymore? Who was it?
Are they
Dylan
top
Johnson, the
20?
running back.
I mean, I think they're a top 25 team.
well, they
You
were
know, or
24.
but they're certainly not the
yesterday.
upper echelon.
Well,
I think
They're
they're out.
20. They lose by a touchdown,
10,
right?
52
yeah.
to 42. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they lose
But-
by 10 to the Dogs, who I think we're leading into us thinking how highly we think of them, right?
Oh man, and
You
that's
know-
what I wanted to ask you guys because remember when the big game was Oregon playing the Huskies, right? And the Huskies pulled that one out. And I actually thought Oregon was going to take it. I'm not going to lie. And obviously I was wrong, but now I'm sitting here going, shit, they're number 5. Could they be
The
higher?
Ducks
than
are
that?
6.
I mean,
the Ducks
yeah,
are 6 too.
but can the Huskies? They're undefeated. They haven't lost a game.
fuck yeah.
Can
the
they
Hus-
sneak in? They're good,
here's
man.
Here's the scary thing about UW. So we talked about the Oregon game and how that looked like a Big Ten, punch you in the mouth, I'll punch you back in the mouth, just like a heavyweight brawl, right?
Right.
Talked about that. But then the Huskies go and a traditional Pac-12 game against USC and just a fucking track meet, and they win that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. I don't know
It's
where their
yeah,
biggest
I'm telling you-
competition is going to come from.
I'm telling you, the Dogs are scary. They're scary, and me being and I like the Dogs. I've spent way more than half of my life in the state of Washington, and so I like the Dogs. But Ohio State's my team, and I'm sitting here thinking, holy shit,
You don't want to
dogs
see
are
that
scared.
team, man.
Do Ohio State and Michigan play in the regular season this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One in,
Hey,
I mean,
hey,
so one of
should we-
those got one.
Should we
team's
get
gonna
into
lose.
that? Should we get into that a little bit? What's going
We
on?
need
with
to
Michigan
because
right
with
now?
what's going on with
Right.
Harbaugh? Come on, boys.
Well,
They just pulled his extension. Did you see
Well,
that? They're like,
yeah.
oh, wait a minute. We got to see what the
there's a
hell's
lot
going
of
on
there's a
here.
lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke that Harbaugh is considering a return to the NFL. I've heard
Well,
several.
Dude,
Dude,
if you're him though, because that's what you go back to college for. If you're him, right? You go back there because
Mhm.
now you have fucking complete control.
Right.
Absolutely. There
Absolutely.
isn't anybody telling you fucking nothing.
Drafting
then
your
something-
players
and then
for
something
you,
like
nothing.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
then nobody tells you shit. And then something like this, and then you get your extension pulled. If you're Harbaugh, aren't you just going? Then I'm gone. What the fuck are we
It's kind of
doing?
an embarrassment.
But
It's an
listen,
embarrassment.
guys. But listen, guys. Remember when Pete Carroll did this shit at USC? Now he did
Pete
it.
Carroll
after-
bounced in a fucking hurry.
Right, but he did it, if I'm not mistaken. And hey, anybody out there, please fact check us and make sure I'm correct on this. But didn't Pete Carroll do it after the NCAA ruling against USC?
Yeah,
Okay.
he burnt that
Right.
motherfucker to the ground and
He
then
did.
went.
And then
I'm
went to
outta
the
here.
NFL.
And then bounced.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Time to leave.
Cost Reggie Bush a Heisman, which God bless you, Reggie Bush. I hope you get it back. I hope all that works out for you. But didn't correct me again if I'm wrong? Didn't the NCAA and the NFL come to some kind of an agreement after that Pete Carroll fucking debacle at USC? Didn't they come to some kind of agreement that after the ruling? So my point is Jim Harbaugh has to do this quick.
Oh, big time.
If a ruling comes down, I don't think he can jump to the NFL, guys. I think,
And I don't know what the language is. That's actually somebody needs to find that out, because if that's true, that's a big freaking deal. Because
I distinctly remember, and it's not like called the Pete Carroll rule or anything, which it should
Right.
be.
no,
So
but
that
he set the
everybody
table.
would know exactly what the fuck we're talking about. But somebody facts check this. I swear to God that I distinctly remember that the NCAA and the NFL came to an agreement about this shit is after the ruling comes down and he's suspended from college athletics, he can't just bounce to the NFL and the NFL welcomes him with open arms. He's got
Right.
to get out some time in the NFL too.
But don't
I
you think
think I
maybe
remember.
what we were talking about, the Raiders. I need a coach. Oh, Harbaugh. Don't you think that they would try to use some stroke to make that happen if they could? Because they need a coach. They need a general manager.
Well,
You know,
a couple things on that though. I mean, so a couple questions. One, is it imminent that Harbaugh is going to get suspended? I mean,
We don't know.
is
It
that-
looks
that
bad. The optics
looking-
looking at it today, it looks fucking bad. It
It's
doesn't
looking
look good.
really bad for him. It's looking
okay?
bad.
So then my next question is that if do you think that it's because of that why he's considering the NFL?
I think
is
that's
it
the
just
only
because-
reason. I think
I
think
that's
that's
because
the
I think he
reason.
could have already jumped ship. He could have already.
He could have.
He's been offered NFL jobs for years
since he got back to Michigan, man. Since he got back, there, he was
back to
being offered.
college. Since he got
Yes.
back into college. So, and there, of course, it's going to be a bottom feeder team. That's the thing is like if you're Harbaugh in that position, you've had your NFL success, you've had your college success, which I mean, however you mark success, but I think he has.
Right.
Why would you go? Okay, other than what's happening to him right now, or what is potentially going to happen, why would you leave a program that's a top now 4 program that you have complete control over to go take the Raiders job? That's what we were just talking about. Like, that's a fucking
Right.
dumpster fire.
Well, only
For-
I think it'll
and the
come
way
down to
college coaches get paid, you're like,
Right.
it's not that much
that'll
less.
come down
the
to the
top
NCAA.
ones.
That'll come down to the
that's what I'm
NCAA
saying.
and any violations and
when you're
that's
making
the only
when you're
reason I
cutting
think he could
hairs by
jump.
like a couple $1 million,
Well,
you're
but
like,
Send them to
well, but
Mark
I
Davis
like
to
it,
cut
but I
those
like
hairs.
it here. I don't have the headache. These kids listen to me because they want to be in the NFL. They're not already NFL players that are like,
They're
I'm
not
here.
$1 million prima
I'm here.
donnas.
I'm fucking
But
here.
but remember what me and Jim were talking about last week when we were saying the Padres manager job. If they called you, are you taking that job? Because Bob Melvin, a very respected manager, bailed on him with all that talent. Padres roster is stacked, right? But so it's one of those things where do you take that job? Because if it doesn't work out, you may never get another job. But the reason why you would take that job, much like the reason why you would take the Raiders job, is that arrogance that a lot of head coaches have. And I think Jim Harbaugh is no stranger to that. That arrogance that he has that if he comes to the Raiders organization or the Giants or whatever shit show in the NFL, he's got that arrogance that if he gets there and he turns that fucking organization around, oh Jesus! I mean, they'll
Dear
open
God.
up. He'll have a key
Yeah.
to the city. They'll build statues for him. That's what it's about. It's about, you know what? It looks really bad, but if I can go there and bring a championship or make him successful, man, look
Yeah,
at
but
what
does
I'll
it,
do.
so I gotta real quick, I got a question. Doesn't it seem like a lot of these successful, whether it be a program or a professional team, are the ones that are the best at cheating? Like that just get away with it. Like they're better than everybody else. They don't get caught. So you're talking about the optics.
Rubbing
I
is
get
racing.
that.
Rubbing
But
is
think
racing,
about it.
boys.
Yeah.
I
Pushing
mean,
the envelope.
If you're the dude with the Ray-Bans on with the fucking little blue light on them that says you're recording, like a little piece of tape.
Right? How hard is that to do, man?
Color
I
the
get
little
a thing on my
motherfucker
dashboard
black.
of my truck, black electrical tape. That light's gone.
Yeah.
I don't
a little
need
bit
it.
of wide glide.
Rubbing rubbing is racing, and there's a gray area to any goddamn rule. And it
push the
doesn't
envelope.
matter how far you push it. Listen, man, when I was coaching, I would tell the referees, I know this isn't against the rules, guys, but you're going to see this. And I know
Hey.
it's not against the rules. And I
Yeah.
would tell them that before the game even started. I would say,
I would-
this is
But that's
what
the
I'm
thing, though.
gonna
That's what I'm
do.
getting at. It's like there are some organizations, man, they've got this down.
Well,
Like,
I would
they're
like
dialed
to think,
in.
I would like to think that most knowledgeable baseball fans, and I say most, don't fall into the ignorant situation where they actually believe that the Astros are the only team that steals signs.
Oh, fuck.
Get the fuck out
Every
of here.
team
man.
is doing it.
Every team steals signs. The difference is the Astros were doing it with a Rubbermaid trash can. Okay, you're kind of fucking stepping over the line, man. So every team steals signs. Astros got busted doing it. So and look at Belichick with Deflategate, deflated balls, and
I mean,
and
pick
you
one.
wanna
There's
talk
been
about
several
stealing.
with Belichick.
You want to talk
And,
about
yeah.
stealing? You want to
But
talk
they
about
weren't
stealing?
rules. They weren't rules then. They were
Right.
in the gray area, fellas.
Right.
That
How about
Bill
stealing?
Belichick knew better than anybody in the NFL.
How about stealing playbooks? You want to talk about a team that was filming the other team's fucking. I mean, listen, man. New England has pushed the envelope up to and touching and even crossed over more than anybody. Is that the reason why they won 7 championships? Probably not the reason, but you can't tell me it didn't help them, man.
Hey,
I mean,
there
come on.
are
It's
rules.
hard to
How
say.
many rules in the NFL are now rules because of Belichick? Because
And
of
Tom Brady.
Somebody got caught because he got
There's a
caught.
Brady rule, for
Yeah.
Christ's sake. There is a Brady rule, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me? Remember when you used to be able to light a quarterback up and he was a fumble? Now, just throw your arm forward, whether you have the ball or not, and it's a forward pass. That's because of Brady, man. That's because of fucking Brady.
Wait, hey,
the
real
tuck.
quick, because
If you were
you
gonna
guys-
cheat, and you were gonna steal signs, how would you do it? Because obviously you don't want to get caught, right? I have an idea. I know how I would do it.
I would put a guy in the stands, just a guy dressed as a fan. And
you
put him in the
gotta
stands
do it.
Yep.
with a $high dollar fucking camera.
Yep.
I
You
mean,
know what,
technology now Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna-
Did you sit in the nosebleeds where nobody's over your shoulder with their phone going?
And you're not
What the
going to
fuck
hit
is
the
this guy
cameras.
doing? You sit way the fuck up in the very tip top
With
with a
a
nice camera and just
with
go.
a $50,000 lens.
let me show you guys something right now, okay? I have this app on my phone, and it's called Huddle, HUDL.
Stalkers.
I have that
RS.
app too. I have it too.
So
The Huddle.
when I was coaching, I could watch any team that we were going to play. I could watch them live if we weren't playing at the same time.
You know what that's huge for too, Jimmy, is that's how these high school athletes basically promote themselves to get scholarships.
Well, of course. And you got Max.
But they can set that up. But no, Huddle, I have that too. And it's actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can sit here and I can watch games. I can watch the other team's fucking sideline, fellas.
Yep.
But, hey, wait a second. I think we're
get
getting
it.
a little bit off.
get it.
I think we're getting a little off topic. I mean, not topic, but I think, like, if you look at it from the perspective, you remember Nick Nolte in the movie Blue Chips, and he says one of the most accurate lines I've ever seen in any movie I've ever watched. When he says, "You know what? I can write down my game plan on a piece of paper, and I can walk it over to the opposing coach and hand it to him and let him read it and let him recite it and let him memorize it. And if we execute our game plan, there's not a damn thing he's going to
They
do to
can't
stop it."
you. That's
Think about that.
That's
So,
right.
so
You know
you
what?
can you
You-
can film
you
You
whatever
just
you
went
want,
Nick Nolte.
If
Let's
you
get back to
spend time-
Porky's.
but I'm just saying.
Let's get into Denzel Washington in Training Day if we're gonna do monologues.
Oh, hell yes.
This
Oh,
actually
that's
you
one that we-
bitches.
this actually was applicable to what we're talking about. My point is that if a team
I
executes,
thought we were just gonna do monologues we liked from movies.
oh, we can do that too. Hey, listen, I can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking my head up a bull's ass,
right.
but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. So
Hey, but listen, and I've always believed that. When I coached, I spent time worrying about us, not about them.
Correct.
Because
You-
if I'm
you have to
worrying about
execute.
if I'm worrying about them, I'm not worrying about us.
Nah, your
Right.
teams
Our
must
game
have
plan.
sucked then.
And
Just
If
do
you don't
your
have to
job.
worry about your team and you got to worry about the other
Wow.
team, maybe your team was good.
just do your
I don't
fucking
know.
job.
I don't know. Devil's
Your fucking
advocate.
job.
That was all I'm
I
saying.
remember I had a team one year, guys, Little Town Concrete, Washington, right? And
Is that a town?
yeah,
Okay.
Fuck yeah, well, I don't know that it's
Well,
probably
listen,
more
from
like
Jimmy,
a
though,
village.
from Jimmy,
I
I've
think it's
heard like
maybe considered
concrete.
a village.
I've heard about Camp Chuck Your Nuts. I mean, so this whole Washington State thing, I'm a little bit sketch on.
yeah,
So
it's Western Washington, man. You never know what you're
Like
Okay.
northwestern Washington.
Yeah. So
okay, good.
anyway, but Concrete, Washington, and I literally had, when I put my starting 11 out there, I literally maybe had 5 or 6 guys on the sidelines. And I went into a game, I had one of the most athletic teams I've ever coached, but they just weren't, there were some chromosomes missing.
Oh,
They were fucking athletic. They were so goddamn good and unbelievably athletic, but I could only do so much. I went into a game against a 3A school, and we're 1A, with literally 8 plays that I could run out of 4 or 5 different formations. But it was basically 8 plays left and right. That's it. And we win 32-6. And the only reason they fucking scored is because one of my running backs, the most gifted fucking kid I've ever coached, maybe athletically, just God-given, size, speed, everything, set the ball down at the 5-yard line instead of over the goal line when he ran a 70-yard touchdown. Sets it at the 5-yard line. Some kid from the other team picks it up, runs it all the way back. That's how the other team scored.
Oh, that would suck.
And I'm just like, oh, and then the same kid blocks the PAT.
Jesus.
So he got some
And I'm
payback,
just
a little
like,
bit of redemption.
This is we are our own worst enemy. But The point I'm trying to make is that they couldn't stop us with 8 plays, guys. Out of 4 or 5, there's
No, if you can
fucking
run them
one.
and you can execute them, I
But
mean,
that's-
it's on
that's
them to try and
all-
stop it.
That's all that they could run perfect at that point in the season was 8 goddamn plays. And that's just,
Jeez.
as a coach, that's what you got to do.
So
So
Yeah, I just wanna-
go ahead.
I
Pat.
just want to say it's been confirmed. The Miami Dolphins are completely overrated. They're frauds and they are pretenders. It
They
has
lost
been
by 7 to the Chiefs. Fuck, dude. The
Doesn't
Chiefs
matter.
are like
Doesn't matter.
I
They
don't
can't
know,
beat a good
that's
team.
overreaction.
beat a good team.
Overreaction
They cannot-
fucking Sunday.
They cannot beat a good team. They
Well,
cannot.
that's true, I suppose, actually.
Well, that makes
I
you a
mean,
pretender.
But they're not
That
that
makes you a
bad.
pretender.
They're not the fucking.
No, they're a
not,
pretender.
They're not a dumpster fire.
Dude, they are gonna. If they make the playoffs, they are gonna be absolutely taken out to the woodshed and exposed like they were against the Chiefs today.
Okay, hey, timestamp this shit. Because I
Yeah,
don't want to
timestamp
fucking
it.
hear about in 3
Timestamp
weeks
it.
when they look good again.
No,
how
look,
fucking
they're gonna
good
get
they
smoked
are.
by the Ravens. They're gonna get smoked by the Ravens, and I
Yeah.
accept that. So
You know, here's the thing.
I don't know that I would buy that. I don't know. See, this is the best thing about Patrick. I've known Patrick for so friggin' long, and him being a Dolphins fan like me, the biggest problem with him,
I need a
things
beer,
start
boys.
to go
Hold on.
wrong, he gives up and he just steps off, and then it's just a slam. Listen,
they
we played
cannot
like-
beat
we're
the
in
team. man.
Germany. We're in Germany. I know we haven't beat the good ones. Buffalo took us out behind the woodshed. I get that. The Eagles game I've got a lot of issues with, that I'm not going to get into. But this one, for not playing good and being in Germany to only go down by 7, I'm not
Do
going to
you,
write
do you
us off.
believe? Do you believe that Andy Reid pushed for this game to be in Germany because he didn't want to see Tyreek Hill get booed at Arrowhead? Would he have? Would
No,
Tyreek Hill?
Potentially,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
No,
I think-
okay. I saw the headline too, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, would he
I don't
have
think
got
so.
booed?
No, he wouldn't have got booed, man. Listen, with the issues that the Chiefs are having at their receiver position right now, he would have been been like, God damn it, why aren't you here? More than
Well, he was part of really good teams. He had a good career in Kansas City.
Absolutely.
Great
But
career.
Pat-
I mean,
but
not
Pat,
just he
let
didn't
me-
just have a good career.
But Pat, let me
Let me just say really quick. See what Lee was just saying. So, as a Dolphins fan, and you can't disagree with me on this. I'm tired of excuses, man, and that's all this is. It's like, in Germany,
That's every
it's,
team.
the penalties in Philadelphia. It's we can't get past Buffalo, man. It's an excuse every time we play a good team. I'm tired of the excuses. They're frauds, man. Until they prove to the world they're not, they're frauds. They are.
Well, the Raiders are always looking for new fans, Pat. I mean,
So listen,
Don't pull that, man, because I've been a loyal Dolphins fan my entire
I
life.
know that's
so-
my problem too.
Yeah.
But I
So-
don't give up so quickly.
so Pat,
I don't
let
give
me
up.
just run this real quick because I know we're running a little long, guys. But let me
Yeah.
run this by you real quick. Miami, as talented as they are, they don't know how to win yet.
They
Not
don't.
yet.
Not yet. So but they're just a couple pieces away from being a goddamn fucking wrecking ball.
I don't
in
buy
the
that.
NFL. And they're
I don't-
just a couple pieces away. So you
I
can't,
don't buy that at all.
you can't, they're just a couple pieces away, man. They're
Their
off.
offensive line, this is the first time all season they had a healthy secondary. They had 3 returning starting offensive linemen. There was no fucking excuses for them not to come out and
You
fucking.
just said, hit it right on the fucking head. This is the first time
And look how they
they've
played.
had them all together. This is
Excuses,
the first
man.
time. The
Fuck,
second,
hey, you know what?
Oh, and
Pull
by the
another
way,
excuse out.
the first time
Another
the
excuse
first
out.
time the secondary has been together and been healthy, they have to face fucking Patrick Mahomes.
I know. And every fucking week is an excuse. There's another excuse. First time they're together.
Yeah,
Fuck
but hey,
off,
wait.
man.
Andy Reid had a good game plan
Alls
too.
I
It
know-
wasn't throw it to Travis Swift Travis Swift, Taylor Kelsey, Travis Swift.
Next week
Yeah,
we'll be in
it wasn't always throwing it to Travis Swift.
Fucking
So
love it,
you know,
man. Love it.
Wait
Travis
for
Swift.
the excuse in 2 weeks when they get taken out to the woodshed by the Ravens.
oh
There'll be
man,
more-
I'm already worried
there'll be
about
more
that too.
excuses.
Listen, fellas, hey, hey, we got a lot of football coming up, so let's get to, anyone got some curtain calls so we can wrap this baby up,
Hey
because
man, can I
it's
go?
all
Can I
football all
go?
day for me.
Can I
Absolutely.
go? I'm on my second beer, and I'm telling you, my curtain call right now, Bob Knight.
Oh yeah.
Attaboy.
Fellas, Bob Knight, I know Ty, you don't get to remember him in his heyday, but I would watch Indiana. I would watch Indiana
Oh.
and Texas Tech just to see what the fuck Bob Knight would do next.
Yep. I love
Just
Bobby
to
Knight.
see his
man.
antics on the sideline.
Oh
Yep.
my
Right on,
God.
Yep, I love Bobby Knight. I mean, it just
kicking the ball into the goddamn stands, a Nick Nolte thing, blue chips.
Yeah.
Talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Throwing chairs up into the stands, and I mean,
Yeah.
Across the court.
Textbook old school coach. Textbook old school coach.
And
man.
if you
We need to
didn't
get
wanna,
back to that.
if you didn't want to learn basketball, if you didn't want to give your 110% blood and guts every fucking practice, every game, Indiana wasn't the place for you, bud.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nope.
Bob Knight, no matter what anybody thinks about him, I know this newer couple generations probably couldn't understand.
No, they can't.
The man is in the Hall of Fame for a reason.
Yes, sir.
And his Hall of Fame speech was something to the effect of, you can bury me upside down so all of my naysayers can kiss my ass.
Yeah. Bobby Knight, man.
That's
I'm all about it.
There's
that's
my-
Bobby Knight.
There's my
Cheers,
curtain
Bobby
call.
Knight.
Cheers, sir. To the general. Hey, rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, well, Tyler, you got one?
Yeah, mine goes out to us for getting a fucking episode in, even though it's football Sunday. I know you guys have the Dolphins game going on right now, and
That's over.
well, we could have pushed it.
It's all good.
Yeah. So no, shout out to us for fucking pushing through.
True.
My curtain call goes out to my girlfriend's son plays for Western Montana. They're ranked, fact check me on this, but I believe they're ranked 11. There was 3 teams in their conference that only lost one game. I think it was Northern Idaho, Western Montana, and Carroll College out of Helena. And so big game, Carroll College and Western Montana. They played at Carroll College this weekend. Carroll College was ranked 7th, I think. Western Montana was ranked 11th. And first half was close. Carroll was up 17-14. Came out second half, and it was pure decimation. So they sacked Carroll, I want to say 6 times, picked off the quarterback 3 times. Final score was 34-17, Western Montana. And I bet you Carroll College didn't have 100 yards offense in the second half. Just pure fucking domination second half. So good for them going forward. They got the kind of the pole position heading into the playoffs. So cheers to Western Montana Bulldogs.
Hey, man. And Frontier Conference is fun because I followed that too.
Frontier
So
Conference.
I've got
And that's NAIA, correct?
yes, NAIA Frontier Conference. So I've got 2 quick ones. Number one, the first one's really quick. And if you know this person, you know this person. So quick shout out to a young lady named Marianne. She not to get too deep into it. Happy belated birthday. She's responsible for at least 75% of this podcast. So I just like to give her a nice little shout out. So belated happy birthday to her. The other one, and this is a little bit of a homer, and Jimmy's got the hat on to prove it. Bobby Hauck, and he hasn't won a national championship with the Grizzlies. They just did a fantastic job at home last night under the lights, beating Sac State, number 7. They were number 4. He just became the winningest head coach in Big Sky Conference history.
Wow,
it was his 124th win, which I would have never thought that until I heard it. I was like, really? I didn't realize that. But so I will give a curtain call to Marianne, number 1, and to Bobby Hauck, coach of the Grizzlies over in Missoula. And gentlemen, let's get back to some football Sunday. All right.
Cheers, BH.
Cheers, boys.
Yeah, cheers, fellas.